aka Lady D. I hope my camera stays up here. It's kind of on a little tilt. But I am here this afternoon after Christmas, you guys. This is like 3 days after Christmas. I hope you all had a wonderful, wonderful Christmas. It's been extremely cold here in the Bay Area. Um, and you got to keep yourself warm. It's been really, really chilly every day, every day. And chilly to us is if it drops down to the 30s or something like that, that's cold. That's cold for Cali. I know some of y'all out there gonna say, "Oh, that ain't nothing." We get below zero over here, but for us, that's cold. So anyway, how's everyone? I'm your hostess with the mostest, Donna Smith, here with some afternoon thoughts for you. I've gotten a lot of feedback from some of you with your Christmas experiences. Some has been really great, some has been not so great. There's been some breakups. Hopefully there will be some makeups. There have been some people who have come together and rekindled things, and there are some who are still hopeful that this new year they're gonna find that one. So let's talk about that, y'all. Let's talk about finding that one. I was having a conversation with somebody. They was like, "Well, how do you know that's the one? They all seem like they the one." Well, I remember my grandmama told me, "You just gonna know. You gonna know everything's gonna fit. Everything's gonna be right and tight. It ain't gonna be no reservations, no questioning it. You're gonna know that that's the one." She said, "You can't even put that in words." And I'm like, wow, because I know sometimes you think quite a few times it's the one. You know what I'm saying? And then you get your feelings hurt and be like, "Oh man, I thought that was the one." But I think because we don't slow down and really take our time to identify, like I was telling someone, the right one for you may not be the right one for me. Everyone has their own interpretation, needs of what the right one is for themselves. And, you know, it's always helpful. I've mentioned this before where you guys got to excuse me. I'm up here trying to do a few things at once. But it's always helpful to maybe journal, you know, journal down 2 rows on a white piece of paper of your likes and dislikes, or your wants or your needs, or however you want to categorize it. But it has to be the things you want and the things that you don't want in that person that is for you, right for you. And make a list of these things. And as you do it, you'll start self identifying what's really important to you. Your list may start off with, um, I don't want anyone that smokes. I don't want anyone that's not health conscious. I do want someone who's considerate. I do want someone who is understanding, who communicates. Communication is a big one. There's a lot of people, not a lot, but there are some people who complain, or some women who complain that, especially with their men, that he's not one to communicate. When he has issues, he holds them inside. When he's dealing with something, he holds it in. And then maybe a week or 2 or 3 or 4 later, he'll want to talk about it. You beat and forgot all about it. But he'll want to talk about it then. And men kind of have their seasonal ways of handling things. Women, we're emotional. We like to express. We're expressive. We're communicators. We like to talk about our issues, even if we are passive and introverted and shy. When it comes to love, and things of that nature, we like to be able to be in connection and cahoots with our partner. Whereas if something is bothering us, there's an issue, we want to lay it on the table. Some men and women have a difficult time communicating without escalating things. Their form of communicating is when they're hurt or pissed about something is to lash out at you, to accuse you, to yell at you, to curse at you, to literally spit on you when they're talking, and that's what they call communication. Well, that's not going to do nothing but have a person shut down. If somebody is that close to me, yelling and screaming and fussing and spitting in my face, you think I'm gonna stand there and let it go on? No, I don't think so. We're gonna end this conversation, and then I didn't even retain anything that you said. Whatever it is you felt and said in that moment, I went out, whoop, out the window. So here we are with a losing battle. I don't have a clue. So, you have to make a list, grown folks, of what's important to you when it comes to having another significant person in your life. Those of you who are already involved, you can make a list as to what has worked for you. What it is you need, your wants, and what has worked with that mate meeting you in the middle and halfway. Because if you are interested in someone and vice versa, and they're not meeting you halfway. And when I say that, I'm saying in terms of, and I think I talked about this briefly before, we may not both like the same things. We may not both do the same things, but we have commonalities. We have an attraction and commonalities that have glued us together, per se. But there's going to be some differences. But sometimes we bend with those differences just to appease our partner because we want them to be happy. So, say for instance, if you're not big with celebrating holidays, you're not big with gift giving, things of that nature, or doing anything special on New Year's or whatever, every now and again you got to do something because you know that your mate, that makes them happy. That's what they like, that's what they enjoy, and vice versa. They got to do things that you enjoy, what you like, whether they don't like it or not. It's a matter of compromising, bending, and trying to appease the other. And I think sometimes, selfishly, some get so caught up into their own needs and wants, and just stubbornly wall themselves up with, is this way or no way? Is this way or the highway? Is this way or no way? You know what I'm saying? And nothing else can pierce in. Well, that doesn't balance a healthy relationship at all, because you're not compromising and giving. Relationships is give and take from both sides. You have to meet one another in the middle. No, you're not going to get with someone who fits 100% of all your needs, who is 100% perfect, who will 100% do everything that you need them to do. But they got to be able to fit the bill where they're meeting pretty close to the needs of what you want. As a matter of fact, they have to be meeting the needs of what you want and what you need. And that's not saying being perfect. But, you know, we seem to have a battle with this. We seem to battle with, not being able to find that right cohesiveness, that right fit. And, and back to communication, which is a big one for me. I am not one that like to do all the screaming and hollering and fussing and cussing and all that, because it's abusive, number one. And when you have no filter or no self control, the other person is not getting in anywhere to being able to understand where you're coming from. I like to patiently talk about things. But when that's not um, reciprocated. When we can't both come together and want to communicate, then Houston, we got a problem, because this thing is, it's just not going to work. It's not going to work without that communication and trust. Okay, communication and trust and respect. Those are the three biggies: communication, trust, and respect. If you are not communicating, you're not able to build, grow, forgive, and strengthen your foundation, right? If you're not respecting one another, then you start establishing this bitterness towards one another, this angry type of feeling inside about the other. You start disconnecting when you're not trusting. And I mean, when you're not, what did I say? Communicating, trust. And what was the third one I said, y'all? Are you listening? Are you listening? Respect. If you're not respecting, man, there's no respect, you get no respect. And you got this unbalance, and it's just boom. Okay. If you're not trusting, it becomes a burden. A person starts to feel weighed down by the fact that every time they say or do anything, they're being accused of something. Or anytime they want to go somewhere, they're being accused of something, and blah, blah, blah. I'm doing a video, y'all. Stop interrupting me. So, see, that's a form of disrespect right there now. Just playing. But anyway, you got to have those three. You really do. And those are some things I just kind of went through my head today, because, and I want to also say, when you're in a relationship, whether it's marriage or just dating someone, to disagree and have a misunderstanding every now and again, it's normal. You're both human. You're going to disagree sometime. It's not that you're having the disagreement or the argument. It's learning to disagree agreeably. It's learning to do it in a respectful way. It's learning to at least hear where the other person are coming from and what they're feeling, because we're not them. We don't have their same feelings. We don't have the same type of temperament and heart that they do. We may be close, but you're you and I'm me. So what may hurt me or send me off into a tailspin may not even budge you. You're like, man, what? Were they tripping on that? Really? Yeah, really. Because why? It's not because they're petty. It's not because they're childish. It's not because they're sensitive. It's because they are who they are. And you never know why a person may be feeling a certain way inside, um, and you come at them in a certain way. It could be that a trigger had occurred with something you said or did. Maybe something happened in their past. Maybe they had been abused, talked to wrong. Maybe something had been done to them. We don't know. There's things that people go through way before adulthood and way before getting with you. You don't know all the details of their last two relationships, whether they were marriage or not. You don't know to what degree, the man or the woman, if there was abuse, and if so, how. They're only going to let you know so much. But a lot of times when insecurities come about, especially in the area of trusting, is because they have trust issues. Perhaps they come from a situation where, the person always cheated on them, or just was never really trustworthy, or things of that nature, and they carry that weight, and they are trying to protect themselves from feeling that again and going through that again. So any little thing you do that triggers that is going to cause a reaction. And that's why it's important to identify, to give yourself a chance to get to know self and identify certain issues that you do have and things that you are dealing with, and perhaps get some help for that, because it's going to carry on and be a problem moving forward. As you become at a more mature age and stage in life, people have more and more baggage and history and life that they've lived. So they have more experience compared to when you're in your 20s or straight out of high school. You haven't experienced anything. You don't have that much baggage. But you're dating someone in their 40s and 50s, guess what? Yeah, they probably can write a couple of books. Really. Get at me, y'all, because I'm a good writer, so I'll help you out with that too if you're interested. But they could probably write a couple of books about their life, about their experiences, about all that. We all have a story to tell. And the older you get, the more of a story you have to tell. But you have to learn to forgive and move forward and unpack, not take all that to the next situation. Because you hear some people all the time talking about how ready they are. Oh, I'm so ready to be in a relationship. Oh, I'm so ready to be married. Oh, Lord, where is my husband at? Where my husband at? Where my wife at? I want me a wife. But are you ready? You got all these issues about you: trust, communication, you know you don't know how to really um connect with a person because you're fearful that they're going to do you the same way your ex did. You may have some abusive issues. Perhaps you are one to give the silent treatment. Perhaps you are one that's vindictive. Perhaps you are one that has some violent issues. Perhaps you are one that has substance abuse issues or alcohol issues whenever things don't go your way. You have to identify your issues and work on them and free yourself of some of those things and then move forward, and you will be blessed with someone who will be right for you. So, you guys, start making them lists today: what you want and what you don't want. Don't settle. Don't sacrifice with just anybody just because you want somebody. Sometimes it's easier to just get in the mode of just taking what you can because, oh, okay, they like me, I like them, sure, I'm tired of being alone, okay, come on, let's do this. And before you know it, you in the same old situation or worse than you came from. It's the reason why you single. Now, it may not be entirely their fault. You might have had something to do with it, but either you need to work on some things or you should have identified some red flags that you don't want to bump your head onto again moving forward. And sometimes we think that, oh, that was when we were younger. It ain't like that no more. This person is human. They do that, but they do all these other things that's right. But every now and then they thump me upside the head. Or every now and then they call me out of my name. Or every now and then they give me the silent treatment. I be wanting to talk about what's going on, what the problem is, and they just zoop, no communication. I mean, those are major things, you guys. And you have to pay attention. Eyes wide open, not wide shut. You have got to pay attention to the red flags. Looking forward into the new year for someone who is right for you. Because some of us who have been single for a long time, you've had time to self-identify per se. Get yourself together. Think about your wants, your needs, your desires. Follow your passions. Start to rebuild. You have time to kind of just focus on self, especially when kids are grown. You may have grandkids that you can get when you want, and when you don't, you send them back home. Um, but you have that self-focused time. And that happens when you become single for a while. And the longer you're single, the more time you have to do. Now, I know along the way, some have been single for a few years or so or more, and it's like, man, I've come close, but nah, that just what. But you're able to self-identify. You know your needs and wants and desires now. You know what works for you. You know red flags. You know what you're not gonna tolerate, what you can't tolerate, and you start to make better choices. And when you start to work on yourself and rebuild, some things that you need to work on, then your energy and your light will attract like kind. You will attract those type of men and women who complement you, who are best for you. Because if you sit down and really think about your last, I don't know, 3 to 5 relationships, if you've had that many, but 3 to 5 relationships, and you start to identify with them all the commonalities, you know, what was the common denominator in all of those relationships that caused things to go whoop? Was it you picking the same type of women or men over and over and over again? Because sometimes there's a system of picking the same kind. If you like bad boys, you go after the bad boys. If you like freaky deaky girls, you go after the freaky deaky girls that can't be trusted, that's just wilding out and all that, and you keep getting your feelings hurt. So you have to start identifying what is the common, what are the things, why is this last one so close to being the same kind of way of this next one that I found. I thought I had found something different. But all in all, you're still looking for the same old disastrous garbage. Okay? So work on yourself. New year coming, new opportunities, new attitude, new growth. If it is your time and you've made your list, settle for nothing less. Now, some may not have this in quite the way you want, but they got a large amount of that in quite the way you need it. It's a balance. It's a balance. I'm not saying you have to stick totally 100 to your list, but it got to be close and balanced. If they're kind, loving, respectful, and hardworking, but they smack you around every other day, whoa, that's going to make things go down, right? That's a big no-no. You know, if she's doing all these things, cooking and cleaning and, providing you to do your thing and all this stuff, and every time you call her, she's there, but she's on drugs and she's out there cheating on you, woo, all that goes down, right? So you got to balance and look at what's important, what are the weights, and how you're going to balance this, and what you have to bring to the table. Don't compromise what you need. Don't compromise your wants. Don't compromise your desires. God has created someone for everyone. And unfortunately, some of us have to go through we got to kiss a few toads before we get to that prince or that princess. But she's out there. She's out there. That right one is out there for you. And I'm rooting for y'all because we ain't supposed to be alone. I know I ain't supposed to be alone. No, I probably got to buckle my seatbelts and get ready because Prince Charming, he's near. He's near. So you know what I'm saying? You got to stay ready, especially when you know you're ready. So on that note, y'all know a girl gotta go. This was your afternoon thoughts with your hostess with the mostest, Donna Smith, aka Lady D. Brr. And you guys stay warm, okay? Because it's been a killer cold. Take your vitamin C, keep your vitamins, and keep yourself warm. And don't run the streets unless you just have to. And this New Year's coming up. I'm gonna be at y'all again. What's tomorrow? Wednesday? I may stop on in tomorrow, Wednesday or Thursday, one of those days, or both. You're going to be seeing a lot of me in the year coming. Y'all gonna get sick of me, okay? Because I'm here. I'm here to make it bigger and better. So I'll be back at you. Have a good day, grown folks, and remember, be grown or be gone. See ya.